Hey there, my friends. Eric Andreas, your guitar sage here with the one lesson that could very well make or break you as a guitar player. Stick around and I'll tell you what it is. All right, so the one variable that could make or break you as a guitar player is what I want to discuss with you today. So, as you know, I teach many one-on-one students, and I teach online, and I write books, and the whole enchilada. And the one thing that I see over and over again with all students, the ones that make it and the ones that don't make it, there's one particular variable that I see that, without a doubt, is the reason for 99.9% of their succeeding or not succeeding, okay? So what I'm telling you is, whether you do this or not is the reason whether you'll succeed or not succeed as a guitar player. And this is what it is. I'll try to tie it up in a nutshell, but first I need to kind of explain first how our brains work, and this will make sense to you as we move along here. So when a child is learning to read, and let's talk about an infant, okay? An infant is just barely able to get out any sounds whatsoever, right? And it's usually not until they're like 3, 4, sometimes even 5, before they start reading small words, knowing letters, and that sort of thing, depending on their environment, and if they have parents that are teaching them, teachers, and those sorts of things. So obviously, those are all variables. But given all the same scenario, we don't come out of the womb reading books. No one would expect us to, okay? And when we have a child who's 5 years old, we don't expect them to read like a child that's in 5th grade or somebody with a PhD, okay? Someone who's graduated college with 8 years of schooling, or 9 years in my case, where I just kept dropping out and then finally graduated. So nonetheless, it doesn't matter how much schooling you have. In regards to this, we don't expect a kindergartner to just be able to read really, really well. So, and that's a given here. But I preface this with this understanding because I want you to understand that most of us, I'd say all of us, 100% of us, think differently about music, about art, and those sorts of things. And I'll tell you why it is. And if we can make this connection, it's going to save you a ton of heartache whenever you run into issues in regards to guitar. So you agree with me that, you know, a 5-year-old, we're not going to expect to be able to read very well. But as that 5-year-old turns 6 and 7 and 8 and 9, they get better at reading. Why is that? Well, obviously because they have more reading under their belt. So in the beginning, if you can remember, I remember sitting in class and having kids take their fingers and put it over the whole word so so they're not distracted by anything else on the page, and they're just looking at that one word, and they're sounding out each one of those syllables, you know, one at a time. The, L, pant, elephant, you know, and they're doing this, okay? Now, and then eventually that turns into the elephant, so they're saying words, one word at a time, they just recognize that word, and then that turns into phrases and sentences and on and on. Speed readers can read a whole paragraph at a time by just glancing at it, okay? So obviously there's all these different levels of reading. Now let's take guitar for a moment. What happens most of the time when I see students drop out is they're trying to speed read a whole sentence or a whole paragraph at a time, as opposed to where they're actually at in their reading level. And I don't mean reading music, I mean learning music, okay? So, for instance, we take a song. You know, everybody wants to jump into a song right away. When students come to me, I want to learn how to play Crazy Train. They haven't held the guitar in their hands yet. Not only can they not play Crazy Train, they can't pick this one string without striking another string, or they can't fret one note without fat fingering another string, okay? So we have to, as guitar players, and it doesn't matter what level you're at, you could be Eddie Van Halen, and this lesson will be valuable to you. I've been playing for 30-something years, and I constantly have to catch myself falling into this mindset of, I should be able to do this by now. I should be able to do this. I'm a guitar teacher. I've been playing 30-something years. I constantly fall into this myself. So I can't imagine any guitar player not falling into it. So this is what we have to think about when we are learning. Whether you're brand new, if you're brand new, this is the perfect video for you to watch because it's going to give you understanding right from the beginning and it won't make you drop out. Okay, that's why I have the unstoppable guitar system. That's why I purposely called it that, is because it's designed to make you not stop the guitar. It's designed to go to the nth degree of what you can do on this instrument without stopping. Okay, so we need to not stop in our learning, right? And the way that we do that is we need to take appropriate steps, smaller steps that we can digest on the instrument, and they need to be in a very specific order, okay? Now, that's not to say that you can't be Jimi Hendrix or Eddie Van Halen or me, not that I'm in the same league as them, but the way that I learn guitar is by just picking it up and kind of going about it the very hard way. But the difference between me and a lot of other players is I knew this is what I wanted to do with my life. And not only did I know that this is what I wanted to do with my life, I had that feeling that everybody has when they play guitar, is I was willing to put some things on the line, like going to college for it, like spending money on lessons, like buying certain equipment, like a lot of different things throughout life that were deciding factors that determined, hey, this is my thing, this music's my thing, I need to do this. But with all that being said, whether you're doing this for your life or whether you just want to have fun and play campfire songs, the number one thing that you got to be able to do is you got to be able to, when you run into these obstacles as guitar players, and you 100% will run into these obstacles. You're going to run into them hundreds, if not thousands of times throughout your career or throughout your playing, okay? Whether you're professional or not a professional, just having fun. You're going to run into this. And I know guys that have been playing for longer than I have that run into this. What happens is you're playing along, you're going to learn a guitar solo, and you learn a new technique from Joe Blow guitar player, whoever it is, and you're like, wow, that's something I can't do. True, but we need to extend that statement and say, that's not something I can do in this very moment in time. But what happens is the brain is uncanny at being able to learn anything that you throw at it. And when I say anything, I mean anything. The brain is uncanny at this. We've been doing it for millennia, okay, as bipeds, as humans, okay? Now, not just humans, just all animal life is adaptive like this, as we are animals, okay? We learn things through repetition. We learn things through observance and those sorts of things. So the number one thing that you can do to make sure that you stay in the game and not drop out is to make sure that you do not throw too much at yourself at any one given time. Okay? Don't fall into this egocentric idea of, oh, I'm bigger than that statement, Eric. I have this brain that's just very unusual, and I'm able to absorb massive amounts of information at once, and I'm going to jump in and I'm going to learn Boré as my first piece, like I did. Now, I can tell you that Boré is a classical piece, you know. That piece, right? You've heard that before. That was the first piece that I ever learned just a few months into playing guitar. It was the first classical piece. I didn't know how to read music. I didn't know how to do multi-voice, multi-timbral, or multi-voice playing, you know. Counterpart is what that's called. Didn't know how to do that, but I jumped into it right away. Well, guess how long it took me to learn that piece? Like about 3 months. Whereas somebody in classical school who's learned all the bits and pieces, who's learned the theory, has learned how to sight read, learned how to fret and finger pick and all the rest in order, if they were to pick a piece up like that, they might learn that piece in a day. Some people will learn that in an hour. And the really super proficient sight readers can literally look at that piece of paper, can look at that piece of music, and play it the first time through. I know people like this because they're great sight readers, and we have them here in Nashville, orchestra players and those sorts of things, folks that are constantly relying on that. So, with all that being said, whatever genre you're in, whatever place you're at in regards to guitar, make sure that you push yourself. That's totally fine, but make sure that you don't try to digest too much at once, because when you do, and the reason you'll know you're there is when you get super frustrated and you say, I should be faster than this, I should be better than this, I should be getting this by now. If that's the case, 100% of the time you can throw practice at that and you can get there. Stop saying you can't do it. Stop saying you should be there by now. You shouldn't be there by now because you obviously haven't practiced enough to get there. Now, I know for some of you that's insulting, but I'm not here to pat bottoms or put powder on your little rumps. I'm here to say, get off the pot, and when you're ready to, you know what I mean by get off the pot, get off the toilet, all right? If you're on the pot, the other pot, that's fine. I'm saying get off the toilet, okay? Get off the toilet and do this, what I'm talking about here. What I want you to do is, when you sit down to practice, don't be afraid of digging in, but don't take too much at once. And you'll know that you get to this point when it just seems impossible. You get to an impossible place. Do what I say in my videos in the Unstoppable Guitar System. Slow it down, break it down, right? All right, that's enough of that subject. Hopefully you got this idea. If you're a brand new newbie or an intermediate player and you've got some holes in your playing, make sure you go and hit the link below to my first 30 lessons that I teach all students. I give this to you for free. It's worth about $1,000 if you are coming to me in my studio here in Nashville. The first 30 lessons, I usually charge somewhere around $100 a lesson. So you do the math. That's actually a lot more than that. But if we're thinking on the low end here, it's about $1,000 worth of free lessons that I provide for you for free. It's in the link below. If you're a beginner or intermediate. If you're an advanced player, check out the Unstoppable Guitar System. It's below. You can get in there for $1. I have nearly 400 lessons in there. And that is a great place to learn all styles of music, and it's constantly growing. I do live lessons in there for my members. I do that monthly. In fact, this month we're going to be doing 2. I'm throwing a bonus in there. So make sure you check that out. If you have any questions at all about guitar, please let me know. I'm here to help you. And by all means, I am a perfect example of someone who sucked at guitar and then got better with time, just like Jimi Hendrix and Eddie Van Halen and everybody who picked up the guitar from the beginning of time, sucked in the beginning, and then got progressively better through practice and through good instruction. Hopefully I'm that good instruction for you, and the practice is you. So please let me know how I can help. Leave comments below. I'm on Twitter and Facebook and all that good stuff. Would love to help you out with any of your guitar needs. Get the free ebook at YourGuitarSage.com. I also give these books out free several times a year if you sign up there. Please let me know how I can help. And as always, don't trust the man. See ya.